Hi, welcome back. So here in this question, this is a very simple question in order to find out the turning point of a quadratic equation. Turning point, it can be a maximum point or a minimum point. So if it's a U-shaped parabola, it will be always having a minimum point. If it is N-shaped parabola, it will be always having a maximum point. So we will be getting a U-shaped parabola if the coefficient of x square is greater than 0. That means if coefficient of x square is positive, we will be getting an N-shaped parabola if the coefficient of x square is negative. The coefficient of x square, if I am having a minus 2x square or minus 5x square, I'll be getting a maximum point. So maximum point and minimum point. A quadratic equation, when we represent it in a graph, we will be getting a parabola. This shape is called a parabola, U-shaped or N-shaped. U-shape when the coefficient of x square is positive. So in this case, the coefficient of x square is positive. It is basically 1x square. Therefore, I will be getting a U-shaped parabola, which means the turning point is a minimum point. Now, how to find out the turning point using completing the square method? So you should follow exactly the same method if you are using completing the square method. So 1x square plus 14x plus 52. This is my quadratic equation. I'll always start with the standard form here. Standard form of a quadratic equation is ax square plus bx plus c. Now, the very first step after comparing it with the or after writing the standard form of a quadratic equation, write down the variable here. Variable means the letter or the alphabet that we are using in the quadratic equation. In this quadratic equation, the letter or the alphabet, the actual term is variable. The variable that we are using here is x. So write down that variable. Always this is the method. Write down the variable. Then you compare them and check what is my b value. You need to consider the sign. So b here it is positive 14. Take b value and divide by 2. So b is 14. 14 you divide by 2, you will get it as 7. So once we have written our variable x here, take b and divide by 2. 14 divided by 2 is 7. Put them in bracket, square it. Always you have to do that. Once you have written the variable and then you take b value, consider the sign of b, divide by 2, you will get 7. So x plus 7, always you have to, whatever the value you are getting, always you have to put it inside a bracket and you square it. Then you need to put a negative sign always. It will never be a positive sign. Always you need to put a negative sign here. Whatever the number that we have over here, you need to square it. The number that I can see here, I don't have to consider the sign even if it is minus 7 or positive 7. You just have to take that magnitude, the value there. It is 7. Whatever the value here, 7 in this case, I need to square it. When I square it, I'll get 49. Then you write down your C value. Whatever the C value is 52 in this case, so plus 52. Simplify it further, I'll get x plus 7 the whole square minus 49 plus 52, that is 3, positive 3. 52 minus 49 is 3. A quadratic equation, when we simplify using completing the square method, we will be always getting in the form of x plus p the whole square plus q. X plus p the whole square plus q. You need to compare both of them and write down the value for p. P is, in this case, P will be 7, and you need to write down the value for Q as well. When you compare them, you will get Q as 3. We are finding out the turning point here. Turning point is always represented by minus P comma Q. So here P I got it as 7, Q I got it as 3. So now my turning point will be minus P comma Q. That always it will be the same. Minus P comma Q it will be. So here P is 7. So minus P will be minus 7 and Q 3. So minus 7 comma 3. Minus 7 comma 3 will be our turning point. This is how you solve using completing the square method. First, you write down the quadratic equation, write down the standard form on top of it. Then always check what the variable is. We start with variable. Here the variable is x. Find out what b is along with the sign. So b is 14. Always divide b by 2. So when you divide 14 by 2, we will get 7. Put everything in brackets, square it. Always you have to put a negative sign after that. Whatever the number here, you need to square it. 7 square is 49. Finally, you write down the constant term, 52. Simplify this further. Minus 49 plus 52 will give me 3. A quadratic equation, when we use completing the square method, we will be always getting in the form of x plus p the whole square plus q. Compare them and write down the p and q value. P, when I compare them, I'll get 7. Q, when I compare them, I'll get 3. Turning point, we know the formula is minus p comma q. So p is 7, so minus p will be minus 7. Q, 3. That's how we find out the turning point. I hope you have understood how to solve this to find the turning point using completing the square method. If you have any doubt, feel free to write it in the comment box. Thank you for watching.